to all the average Americans, all the working class Americans, all the trans people, and all of the immigrants. I just want to say that I hope that your mental health is doing okay. I'm sending you positive energy when it comes to mental health during these times, and I hope that you are able to understand and know inside that your worth is more than your situation. Your worth is much greater than your circumstances. This video is going to be about my personal point of view on Trump's current presidency, Project 2025, and all the crazy stuff that's going on in American society and in society in general. I don't even know if I'm gonna share that much of my own personal opinion about these things in this video, but I do know that I felt the need to revisit this book. It's called Behold a Pale Horse, and it's written by Milton William Cooper, and it was released in 1990. So Milton William Cooper is an American veteran. He was a part of the Air Force, and it was the Air Force and the Navy. He was a part of the Air Force and the Navy. And with being affiliated with the government in those ways, he was exposed to a lot of things. And so he risks his life by deciding to write this book and expose things about the government. Just like hidden information that they keep from us about like agendas and stuff like that. I had this book for a while, and with Trump's presidency and everything he's been doing, I really felt the need to revisit this book and do a deeper analysis about what is being said. So I'm only on page 48 right now. But I'm gonna read you guys, if I can get this together. Okay, I'm gonna read you guys one of the government documents that was accidentally found, and that is a part of this book. And also, if you wanna buy this book and read it for yourself, I don't recommend getting the version so this version is recomposed, edited, annotated, and illustrated by Emily Winson Craig. I don't know if there are other versions of this book, but I wouldn't recommend getting this version because it's not really like organized well, and just in my personal opinion, and there's a lot of typos, which was kind of frustrating to read. But I thought that this one specific government document that was accidentally found and exposed is really interesting. It's called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. And I'm going to insert more information about this document and how it was found. This is the top secret manual said to be found by accident in 1986 by an employee of Boeing Aircraft. He bought a surplus IBM copier for scrap parts at a government sale and found the manual inside. The manual outlines a plan to control the masses through manipulation of industry, education, and politics. and to divert the public's attention from what is really going on. Surprisingly, it is claimed that much of what is outlined has come to pass and makes interesting reading for those exploring the deeper levels of our social structure and how it may be controlled or influenced. And before I start reading this, I just want to let you guys know that you can buy this individual document separate from this book and online and read it yourself. So yes, that is also available. And I just highlighted certain things that I felt was very important. So I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to read the specific parts that I highlighted that I felt was very important for people to know. So, Top Secret: Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, an introductory programming manual. This publication marks the 25th anniversary of the Third World War, called the Quiet War, being conducted using subjective biological warfare fought with silent weapons. This book contains an introductory description of this war, its strategies, and its weaponry. It is patently impossible to discuss social engineering or the automation of a society. The engineering of social automation systems on a national or worldwide scale without implying extensive objectives of social control and destruction of human life, slavery, and genocide. This manual is in itself an analog declaration of intent. Such a writing must be secure from public scrutiny. Otherwise, it might be recognized as a technically formal declaration of domestic war. Furthermore, whenever any person or group of persons in a position of great power and without full knowledge and consent of the public utilizes such knowledge and mythology for economic conquest, it might be understood that a state of domestic warfare exists between said person or group of persons and the public. The solution to today's problems requires an approach which is ruthlessly candid, with no agonizing over religious, moral, or cultural values. I do recognize this document, based upon the document's own admission, as a formal declaration of war by the Illuminati upon the citizens of the United States of America. I acknowledge that a state of war exists and has existed between the citizens of the United States of America and the Illuminati, aggressor, based upon this recognition. I present to you that the peaceful citizens of this nation are fully justified to take whatever steps may be necessary, including violence, to identify, counterattack, and destroy the enemy. I base this statement upon the God-given right of any peaceful people to defend themselves against attack and destruction by any enemy waging war against them. I cite the principle outlined in the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution of the United States of America, and the fully recognized and acknowledged historical precedents that have served as the justification for destruction of tyrants. Silent weapon technology has evolved from operations research, a strategy and tactical methodology developed under the military management in England during World War II. The original purpose of operations research was to study the strategic and tactical problems from air and land defense with the objective of effective use of limited military resources against foreign enemies. It was soon recognized by those in positions of power that the same methods might be useful for totally controlling a society, but better tools were necessary. Social engineering requires the correlation of great amounts of constantly changing economic information or data. So high-speed computerized data processing systems were necessary to race ahead of society and predict when society would arrive at capitulation. Those in positions of power strongly suspect that it was possible for them to control the whole world with the push of a button. Immediately, the Rockefeller Foundation got on the ground floor by making a 4-year grant to Harvard College, funding the Harvard Economic Research Project for the study of the structure of the American economy. 1 year later, in 1949, the United States Air Force joined in. In 1952, the original grant period terminated and a high-level meeting of the elite, or the Illuminati, was held to determine the next phase of social operation research. The Harvard Project had been very fruitful, as is borne out by the publication of some of its results in 1953, suggesting the feasibility of economic social engineering. With the creation of the Maser in 1954, the promise of unlocking unlimited resources of fusion atomic energy from the heavy hydrogen in seawater and the consequent availability of unlimited social power was a possibility only decades away. The combination was irresistible. The Quiet War was quietly declared by the international elite, or the Bilderberg Group, at a meeting held in 1954. In 1954, it was well recognized by those in positions of authority that it was only a matter of time, only a few decades, before the general public would be able to grasp and upset the cradle of power, for the very elements of a new silent weapon technology were as accessible for a public utopia as they were for providing a private utopia. All science is merely a means to an end. The means is knowledge. The end is control. Beyond this remains only one issue. Who will be the beneficiary? In 1954, this was the issue of primary concern. Although so-called moral issues were raised in view of the law of natural selection, it was agreed that a nation or a world of people who will not use their intelligence are no better than animals who do not have intelligence. Such people are beasts of burden and stakes on the table by choice and consent. So when I read this, the first thing I think of is dehumanization. And dehumanization is a tool that is often used to justify and prevent cognitive dissonance when doing morally heinous, selfish acts that is ultimately an abuse of power. Consequently, in the interest of future world order, peace, and tranquility, it was decided to privately wage a quiet war against the American public with an ultimate objective of permanently shifting the natural and social energy and wealth of the undisciplined and irresponsible, many into the hands of the self-disciplined, responsible, and worthy few. In order to implement this objective, it was necessary to create secure and apply new weapons, which, as it turned out, were a class of weapons so subtle and sophisticated in their principle of operation and public appearance as to earn for themselves the name silent weapons. To continue quoting, in conclusion, the objective of economic research as a conduct by the magnet capital or banking and the industries of commodities or goods and vices is the establishment of an economy which is totally predictable and manipulative. In other words, in order to maintain control, everything that happens in society must be predictable. They want to have full control, no unpredictability. In order to achieve a totally predictable economy, the low class elements of the society must be brought under total control, must be housebroken, trained, and assigned a yoke and long-term social duties from a very early age before they have an opportunity to question the propriety of the matter. In order to achieve such conformity, the lower class family unit must be disintegrated by a process of increasing preoccupation of the parents and the establishment of government-operated daycare centers for the occupationally orphaned children. The quality of education given to the lower class must be of the poorest sort, so that the mote of ignorance isolating the inferior class from the superior class is and remains incomprehensible to the inferior class. With such an initial handicap, even bright lower class individuals have little, if any, hope of extricating themselves from their assigned lot in life. This form of slavery is essential to maintaining some measure of social order, peace, and tranquility for the ruling upper class. I don't know about you guys, but after reading that, all my trust towards, I'm not even gonna call them the government, I'm gonna call them the elite. All my trust towards them has completely gone. I do not support Republican, I do not support Democrat, because I believe that they all have the same agenda. And I know back during the summertime, I was making a lot of videos about how I wanted to run for president in 2036 when I'm finally old enough and qualified. And I have completely killed that dream. I no longer want to run for president at all, because I believe that if I ever actually became president, that I would be forced to conform to these agendas. And just in my personal opinion, I do believe that all these politicians and rich people and entertainers and people who have much wealth in society, I do believe that they are all a part of an elitist group. Some call it the Illuminati. I think I'm gonna just call it the Illuminati. It literally says Illuminati in this government document. So I'm just gonna call it Illuminati. I believe that they are all a part of an Illuminati, and it's a closed club. And their main number one goal is to hoard wealth and hoard power. That's it. They do not care about the American people unless you're making them money. They do not care about educating the children. In fact, as I just read in that government document, they want to give the lowest quality of education possible to anyone who is not rich. And they do not care about the mental health of the people. They do not care about the quality of life of the people. What they care about is controlling society so that society can be peaceful for them. Because from my point of view, from reading this, is that unpredictability and the liberation of the people is their biggest fear. They want to maintain the power that they have been able to establish, and that's why this blueprint was created in the first place, I think. When it comes to Trump's presidency and Project 2025 and everything that he's doing, I think that all of it is in exact alignment with this agenda, and I think that he's just doing his job, and that's why it makes sense for him to defund the education department, because as I just read, they want poor people to have the lowest quality of education because it benefits them for people to be uneducated and for people to be unaware. It benefits them. So with that being said, I'm probably gonna make a part 2 to this video because I have a lot of thoughts on this. But to the people who think for themselves, to the people who see what's going on and have decent moral compasses and understand that they didn't come to Earth to be suppressed and controlled. We embody all of those things. Silly elitist group who ultimately is so overcome by fear in their ego that they go to the farthest extent to maintain control, manipulate people, and suppress them. But I honestly don't believe that's possible, and I don't believe that will be the end of our story. I'm not gonna get like too in depth about my feelings on this because I don't want to like spread too much negative energy. I just want to say to like all the awakened people out there, don't allow yourself to be manipulated, and don't allow this low vibrational activity from the elite to ruin your mental health and your birthright, which is freedom. They may see us as wild animals who are unworthy of the good things in life, but we know we are more than that. We know that we are more than that. So just stay encouraged. Although the things that Trump does to perpetuate this agenda, and Trump and the government and the billionaires, the things that they do to perpetuate this harmful agenda, honestly, they're just overcome by fear and their egos. I was thinking about this. I was thinking about like scarcity mindset and how harmful it is, and how much of a scarcity mindset that Trump must have, because to possess so much material wealth, yet to like have already possessed so much material wealth, more than most people will ever see in their lifetime, to have all that and still your number one focus when you come into power is to create tax breaks for you and your friends. Like, for that to be your main priority when you already have such a vast abundance of material wealth, clearly scarcity mindset, and the fear that you will lose your wealth. And that's honestly sad, and that is true greed. America, when it comes to the elites, is the land of the greedy. And when it comes to people that have such an ingrained scarcity mindset, the fear of losing wealth and power, which is an illusion of power in the first place, to just have your entire occupation, it's like your entire occupation consists of protecting and hoarding material wealth and power. And the absence of that makes you so scared, so terrified, that you're willing to suppress the masses so that you can maintain something that is clearly not really good for you and your mental health. The fear of potentially losing all that, and your willingness to harm others that you feel are less valuable because they're not in the position that you are, or they don't have the wealth that you have, is a clear indication of your lack of morals and lack of integrity. I believe that all of these celebrities that we idolize and pay attention to and that are waved in our faces constantly are meant to be a reminder of the illusion of the American dream, so that we can continue to strive for it, when in reality, this idea of the American dream is just a way for the elites to manipulate us and take advantage of us, because ultimately our hard work as regular American citizens benefits them the most, and it benefits them more than it benefits us. And I think that yes, these celebrities are forced to join the Illuminati because I think that they are contracted and hired to join the Illuminati and do a job that they are very good at doing, which is to distract the people from how bad we need to wake up and organize and create our own change for a better society. But yeah, that's all I wanted to say. This topic is kind of like draining and exhausting to me. But yeah, shout out to all the people who think for themselves. I think that people who think for them, there's so much like propaganda and manipulation because their goal is to control us. So they're literally going to do everything in their power to control us. And I don't really like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really like believe in the devil and Satan and stuff like that. I don't believe in that. But I do believe in the vast, infinite potential of the evilness of human beings, and the vast, infinite potential for lack of empathy, dehumanization, genocide, the evilness of human beings. I believe that there's, when unchecked, there's no limit to that, especially when you're benefiting from indulging in those type of actions. And so I hope that the people can understand that. I hope that the human race can understand that it's really up to us to create positive change. We have to wake up, understand our own individual power, use our mind, and not be manipulated. Like, that's the most important thing. Because that's their goal. They need to manipulate us because they need to control us in order to control their fear of what would happen if we were all liberated and highly educated and abundant. They think that only a select few, which is them, is deserving of that. But that is purely ego. And I don't want to be ruled under an egotistical leader. I think that's disgraceful. So, yeah. That's all I wanted to talk about. Thanks for watching my video, and I don't know, you guys tell me if I should talk more about this topic, because if you guys want me to, I will. I of course will continue to keep doing research. I'm gonna continue reading this book. I'm not done with it yet. I actually listened to the audio version of this before, but during the time I didn't think that the information in this book was that relevant, but it's definitely very relevant now. So I will finish this book and I will continue to share my thoughts. You know, I do believe that Trump is going to continue to do crazy, unethical things. Elon is going to continue to influence the government, the Illuminati. They're going to continue to do crazy, unethical things because they want us in a vibration of fear and helplessness. But when you possess awareness, you could never be that. So, yeah.